and that's called killing the energy. Sometimes people said, pregnant women are just glowing. But I think that should have been said about Mary Curie as well. Literally glowing in her baby's head, four heads. Happy International Women's Day. Would you like to hear another Women in Science joke?
Yeah.
There was an interesting thing. In the 1890s, computers were people, and computers were primarily women. And universities would hire groups of women to be their computers. They'd sit in rooms all day at desks, and they'd crunch numbers and run equations. And if you were a professor doing research, you feel like we're going to sit there and do all that math. You gave your data to a lady, and she'd compute it for you. So there was a lady named Henrietta Leavitt who was an astronomy computer. She would process astrophysics all day, and she looked at enough star charts to correlate the fact that the stars in a distant galaxy, their variations in brightness are directly correlated with their distance, and with her discovery, we were able to compute the size of the known universe. And of course, the credit went to the man, because 1890s. In the 1990s, computers were slow, but in the 1890s, a computer could go to jail for wearing a bikini. Sorry about that. On behalf of all men. I am old enough to remember the good old days. The good old days being the days when arguments didn't end with links to Huffington Post articles. You could just say, well, so there. Or harumph. I don't think I'm that old, but I've seen the movies. Or you could just profanity. When I was a kid, Cheerios commercials were also a lot different. Cheerios commercials in the 1980s went something like this. Hey kids! So you get kids' attention. Cheerios are round shaped and they're fun. They're made of oats and they're good for breakfast. Cheerios commercial nowadays is different. Different tone. Camera surprises a man in his kitchen at 7:30 in the morning. Narrator bursts in. Say, sir, you look like you have heart disease. Well, what? Yeah, you have heart disease. Better eat some Cheerios. You don't look so good. Better eat some Cheerios. You're gonna die. 10 years from now, Cheerios commercial. Little kid sitting in a high chair by himself, crying. Tony's dad didn't eat Cheerios. Now he's dead. If I were a woman, which I am not, I think I would burn down the corporate offices of Kellogg's Incorporated. Because Special K commercials are the worst thing. Even they try to turn it around now, they're trying to be progressive. Hey ladies, you look great, whoever you look. But there's always Special K. There's always Special K when maybe you're shopping for your wedding dress and you want some Special K. Body shaming, cereal. Incidentally, if you look up the guy who started the Kellogg's company, he's a lunatic. He invented like cornflake Scientology. They had a sanatorium where people like paid to eat corn and feel less crazy. I'm going to do what's called a non sequitur, where I'm going to start telling something totally different. It's sort of, I've heard a lot of jokes about romance tonight, and this is a situation that couples might run into. You might go on a trip to the Orient as a couple, and you may or may not encounter a shopkeeper in an Oriental country, anywhere in Asia, really, from where they have camels. And a shopkeeper will say, "Oh, how many camels for your woman?" And it's a joke. But if you're the guy, you have to think of a number ahead of time, because even though your lady friend knows it's a joke, there's still, you can't go too low. You're gonna pay for it later. So to think of a high yet reasonable amount of camels. At some point in time, someone's gonna remember me telling that joke. They're gonna be in that situation, and they're gonna have me to thank. 9 camels? 9? It's too high, it's just unreasonable. This is what I wanted to be doing for a living. People here that gotta be fans of the Pixar films. Pixar animation studios. I'm glad, because Pixar ruined my life. When I was a child, all I ever wanted to be was a James Bond caliber supervillain, but now I can't do that because Pixar movies made me cry. How am I supposed to do my job now? Well, Mr. Bond, I was going to drop you into this volcano, but I can't. Because the little cowboy doll thought he was being replaced, and it reminded me that I have feelings. You may go. So many situations just ruined. I can't push the button in the world. Well, Mr. Bond, I was going to cut you in half balls first with this laser, but the little robot was lonely. And it reminded me that I had feelings, and I cried. People that do like Pixar films, you have to acknowledge at least that the Cars movies are total rampant bullshit. Thank you. It's complete utter garbage nonsense, because they're cars, and it's fine when you're 6 and you're like, hey, the cars are smiling. But the cars have tongues. They drink gasoline. Do they have digestive systems? And do they have glands? Because the cars have genders. The cars go dating. The cars. And then that spun off. That's fine. I was able to deal with that. That spun off into the Planes franchise, and one of the planes was a World War II veteran, and that could only mean that there was a car Hitler. And I want to know if he was a Volkswagen with a little mustache, and was he angry at the car Jews? And the car Jews, they have little Star of David hood ornaments. And was there a car Moses? And did he drive through the Red Sea? And was there a car Jesus? Did the car Romans nail his tires to the cross? Was there a car God? Is there a white Lincoln in the sky? And I know that it was messing with them too, because in Cars 2, there was a Pope mobile, and he was like, it was established in the Cars 2 that the cars have guns and they kill each other. They actually, a few of the cars a car gets beaten to death in a men's room. So the Pope-mobile rides around in a larger bulletproof Pope-mobile. Serves you right, cars, for I'd have you wondering if there's car atheists who demand that the teaching of the building in factories be taught in schools. I got called an atheist on YouTube. That's where all great theological debates happen on YouTube comments. I believe the exact comment was, "You atheists ruin everything." And first of all, maybe I'm not an atheist because I've seen the Hercules films. And I've seen, Thor's movies, and they look pretty convincing. And I know that Jesus had some films too, and I think that if I believe in Olympus and Thor and Odin, and that's more gods than you, sir. So you're more of an atheist than me. And also, just because something you made up isn't real, it's not my fault. And the world isn't flat. And you can't say that your proof for your video about the world being flat is that you had another video that you linked. And I turned it around and I sent him a video of a guy that postulates that the Earth was actually is inflating. A continental drift is explained by the Earth inflating like a balloon. Saying, look, at the beginning of the Earth's time, there were no oceans, and then it got bigger, like a balloon. And on his video, he blows up the Earth. He made construction paper continents and glued them to a balloon and inflates it. And he says, look, it's exactly what the real planet is like now. Except, obviously, the Illuminati have covered up the giant rubber knot in Antarctica. You want to cap this off with a science joke? Not a lot of people know this about Albert Einstein. In the year 1919, Albert left his wife and 2 children to run away and marry his cousin. Yeah, he did. Which only goes to show you that Einstein had a relative theory that never made it into any scientific publications. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Mike Grady.
Good job, man.
Dan Robertson. Killing it with a good old-fashioned incest joke. That's a pro move. That's how you close out a set. We are